Our next Hall of Fame inductee will be presented by David Archer from St. Francis Hospital.
Really pleased to introduce you to a good man. Phill Sheffield is a building maintenance supervisor. But at St. Francis, he's much more than that. He's the guy to call when you need a problem solver. I don't think Phill and his team have ever found a problem they can't solve. If you read about Phill in the Heroes book, you learned a great deal about him. One of the things you may have learned is that what you hear from Phill commonly is, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it." A recent example of this took place last month. Is there anyone here from risk management? Okay, good, because they might blanch at this. I got a call from our Director of Surgical Services that one of our neurosurgeons was going to do spine surgery on a patient that exceeded the capacity of our Jackson table. That he had consulted with Phill and his department to design a wooden structure that was going to span 2 OR tables and would allow him to do surgery on a patient in a prone position. And the structure would have been able to accommodate the patient, and so anesthesia could ventilate them effectively. Well, Phill and his team had built a prototype, and this prototype could have held a Mack truck. It was structurally sound, and it would have served the purpose. Now, you can imagine I might have a few concerns about the risks of a table that spans 2 OR tables, and so I did call the neurosurgeon, and he called me back between cases, and he explained to me, why he thought all the other options would not work and why his design was sound. But then he asked me, he said, "Now, who will you get to certify this piece of equipment?" But when I told him that I just lost the number to the emergency certification at the FDA, he decided to take a little different surgical approach. The amazing thing about this is that a neurosurgeon at a hospital the size of St. Francis would know who Phill is, number one, and number two, would know that Phill is the go-to guy when you have a problem you can't solve. Phill's generosity with his time and talent is legendary at St. Francis and in his community. When he gets involved, there's no doubt that he'll deliver more than what was requested. Whether it's a hospital project or neighbor in need, Phill is there to offer his expertise, his energy, his empathy, and his enthusiasm. When our hospital decided to build a Habitat for Humanity house, Phill was the first to volunteer. He got other members of his carpentry crew to join him, and they led the rest of us through the construction. His leadership and his skill inspired all of our non-skilled carpenter employees to feel like they could actually build a house, and they did. Phill also works with the Motorcycle Club that sponsors events to raise money for St. Jude's, for Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, American Cancer Society, and many other organizations. When Phill suffered an injury that prevented him from walking, he borrowed a medical scooter from a friend and used it to get around the hospital. He just couldn't stay home because he knew he was needed there. Phill is one of those rare people who not only comes to his job with an extraordinary attitude and takes ownership of his work, but who sees his role as one of service to his hospital, his patients, and his coworkers. No matter the request, his consistent response is, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it." St. Francis is blessed to have Phill on our team. Ladies and gentlemen, our true hero, Phill Sheffield.